Now we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty of what Indians are all about.
I still say we Indian people are believers in the truth. This is the way of life that was given to your people. You're born an Indian, you're going to die an Indian. Indianness is a good life. You're facing an Indian this afternoon.
Good Saturday afternoon out there, everyone. Welcome to your number one source for Native American television news, Native News Today. I'm your host, Jason Salzman, and we're joining you from the Muskogee Media Studios today, and we're getting into a routine again about putting out the show each and every week in the same manner that we've done for so long, getting those stories out there. A lot of things starting to pick up with the new year, and we certainly thank you for hanging with us through the holiday season. Get some of those best of top videos rated on YouTube out there. We certainly hope you enjoyed watching those, and some great archive material. Heads up to Jared there for finding the archive material and getting that out to you folks. So lots of great things that we've had, and lots of things we're looking forward to this past weekend. Last Saturday, in fact, the National Council, the 20th session, inaugurated and swore in the elected officers there, and also named the speaker, second speaker, and sergeant-at-arms for this session coming up. We'll have a recap of that for you here today, and get that to you, basically all the information that you need. If you hadn't got a chance to go last week, it was a pretty quick ceremony, but this is really quick. We're going to have it to you in about a minute here today. So we got you covered there with the National Council inauguration. Also, we're going to have a conversation with Principal Chief James Floyd, a look back on the year that was for the Muskogee Creek Nation, and of course some things he's excited about here coming up in the new year, and some projects that he wants to get right on and get started on here quickly. So we have that, and as well a couple of features for you this week you don't want to miss. So we're going to hit you with a little bit of everything, some government news and some government speak, and then also with the features. So don't go anywhere. Stay right here with us. We're going to take our first break, and we'll be back with Native News Today. And welcome back to Native News Today. As we get started this week, our first story is from last weekend, as I said, the inauguration of the 20th session of the Muskogee Creek Nation National Council. Everybody there, a great crowd there in the Mound Auditorium. I had a chance to go and film and get a few highlights from the event, and a little bit of a recap is what we're going to provide for you here. But just a couple of quick things. The National Council, for all of you out there for the Muskogee Creek Nation don't know, it's the legislative body for the tribe, one of the three branches of government, and what they do is they pass amendments, laws, everything for the Muskogee Creek Nation, appropriations, what have you. And this is the 20th session, and we've got a whole new crop of people that have been elected to office, as well as some incumbents, and we'll talk about that a little bit in the recap. But the 20th session of the Muskogee Creek Nation National Council sworn in this past weekend, and we have the recap of the inauguration here for you today.
The Muskogee Creek Nation National Council held its inauguration ceremonies to swear in representatives and elect officers during a special session on January 6th in Okmulgee. The council voted 11-4 to re-elect Tulsa District Representative Lucian Tiger III as Speaker over Okmulgee District Representative Dale Beaver. The council also voted 11-4 to re-elect Creek District Representative David Hill as second speaker over Okfuskee District Representative Randall Hicks. McIntosh District Representative Darrell Proctor was re-elected Sergeant-at-Arms by voice vote with no other nominations. The oaths of office were conducted by Supreme Court Justice Amos McNack. This is the 20th session of the Muskogee Creek Nation National Council.
And we want to thank everyone there for making it a big event and allowing us the access to come in and get the recap for the folks that could not make it, could not access it at their homes themselves. So that's what we do here. You know, we go out and we capture the news, bring it to you if you don't get a chance. And even if you don't see us here, we'll talk a little bit later on about how you can access us online and watch some of our old stories as well. Moving right along, as I said, you know, the new year brings a great opportunity to look ahead to some exciting new things going on here at Muskogee Creek Nation, but also a chance to look back on 2017 and see some of the things we accomplished and some of the things that we still yet have to accomplish. And because of wanting to get some information on all of that, I wanted to go talk with the Principal Chief of the Muskogee Creek Nation, Mr. James Floyd, and he granted me access this past week to sit with him and to talk about some of these things that I've mentioned. So without further ado, here is the Principal Chief of the Muskogee Creek Nation, James Floyd.
2017 represented the second year of the administration, and I think in looking over the first 2 years, the first year was kind of a construction, discovery and construction both, because we had to get some things in place so that we could begin to move out on a number of initiatives. And so even the financial side of the nation, we were able to get information sooner for the auditors. Have a audit that came out I think in June last year. We expect it to be completed in March this year. So that's very helpful in us in looking at the performance of the programs in relationship to the national standards that they must meet and the accounting standards that they need to meet. So that went well. We had no significant findings, and we resolved some that were outstanding from the several years in the past, and so we got that taken care of. So I think financial-wise, it's a big plus. We also saw the completion of the construction of the hospital and clinic in Okemah. We thought that we may not be able to build out the outpatient side just because of the cost, but it turns out the outpatient side we were able to complete, and it's actually already open. The hospital's received its final review, and we're ready to go with that. The Eufaula Clinic got started, and we're ahead of schedule and under budget. So those things helped us a lot. We had an initiative to identify insurance, and that has also gone well. Our collections have increased. We have more people on insurance, Sooner Care, and other health insurers that were identified throughout the year. So, you know, that came together well. We also had a strategic plan. We worked on that from April till December. We got that finished. And so for 2018, we're matching our performance to the strategic plan and the budget. And so we began 2018 within the next few weeks with all the programs coming in and presenting to me of how they're performing in line with their strategic plan. And then, of course, the master plan was approved. The financing was approved by the council last year, and we worked on that for a number of months. That's over at the council right now. And so, you know, that will be followed up on as well. And the other piece I think that's very important is the 40 acres we were able to obtain west of the Omniplex that will serve as a tribal and veterans cemetery. And so we submitted the grant to the Department of Veterans Affairs. We're on the waiting list right now. Once approved, they will fund the operation of that 12.5 acres that will be the Veterans Cemetery portion, and then we will look at designing the remainder of the 40 acres. I believe they start on that side of it, or exactly the 40 acres this month, and so we should see in a few months at least the tentative outline of what it would look like, and we hope to make significant progress on that this year. So in 2018, I think we're lined up to do more things. I think one of the important things that we're going to be looking at is how we invest from the master plan, because I'd really like to see us invest in our first priority to me is investing in like in travel plazas and things like that that will bring jobs and revenue immediately to the citizens. And so I hope that with the approval of the master plan, we can then begin to secure the funding and go to work. And that's going to be a big part of 2018. I think we'll continue to look at just program improvements and expansions. We have the new phone system that's coming in. And it sounds like a small thing, but it's a huge thing. And it's all paid for by savings from renegotiating phone contracts. So we were able to combine contracts and save money. And so there's a lot of things that go on that may be invisible to the citizens, but a lot of work goes in it. And so I want to thank all my staff that have participated in program improvements, because they're working on those things every day. And I get to come in from time to time and they tell me how things are going. There's always room for improvement. We'll continue to work on that. 2018, we'll see the kind of the ribbon cutting or re-grand opening of the council house. You know, that's a story in itself, how we were able to get that completed. The structure itself has been completely restored. This time we're doing the furnishings, and so in a few months we'll have that open to the public. And I think that means a lot to all of our citizens. And so we're able to do that. And then in cultural preservation, and we had the largest reinterment of remains ever, and we were able to do that in Georgia in September. So we'll continue to work on that. There's a number of sites in the southeast that are being threatened, and so we've got to act on that this year, make sure they're preserved. So I just would like to let people know we're working on that in terms of keeping our culture alive and historical sites intact, and we'll continue to do that. Well, I'm very excited about 2018 because now we have the picture and the priorities of what we should do. And so we didn't have that before, and then I think we have the infrastructure within the administration to carry out the elements of the master plan. We'll be seeking a ton of grants this year so that we can get resources to work on the administration side, the cultural side, the commercial side, so that we can expand in all phases. We have some great opportunities. It's going to take a lot of work, but I think we're at the point now where the vision's being seen by a lot of people. The master plan had input from practically every aspect of our government. And so based upon that, I think we've got good buy-in there. They know where we should be going, so we're just going to start working on the priorities and knocking them out. And I think the citizens will start seeing that in terms of opportunities for themselves, for jobs and revenue coming into the tribe.
All right, and as we move along here, I wanted to just, this will be our last feature sort of news piece on the government side of things, and specifically a human interest on one of our newest council representatives, Miss Thomasine Yahola Osborne. She was elected recently, and as you saw in the earlier piece, was inaugurated, sworn in as a national councilman now. So it is official. Miss Yahola Osborne is in her seat on the National Council, and with that, here recently we've been doing some series and getting you more familiar with some of these officials that are running and some of these officials that have won. And we did that sort of with the profiles, the candidate profiles and whatnot. But now that they have been elected, we want to talk with them. We've done a series with the newly elected officials. We want to talk with them about their vision for the job that's ahead of them as a National Council representative.
I'm employee-oriented. I worked for the Creek Nation for 17 years, so I kind of really want to get into the employee side of it. That's what I feel like I bring to the table, and there's some housing issues that I'd like to address. And as far as the legislative end of it, that's something I'm going to have to learn, but I'm excited about it. One of my platforms was the Employee Protection Program, or the Act. It's something I didn't even know existed. Housing came under the tribe in 2004. I became an employee in 1998. And when we became employees of the tribe, we weren't given that Employee Protection Act. And so I'd really like to get into maybe making some changes to that. I think some things really need to be addressed. Honored. I want to cry. He's put a lot of years into helping the citizens. Oh my gosh, I don't think this is a good thing it's a good thing to elaborate on, but it's hard. So I'm excited about it. And the good thing is I'll have them to lean on some things that I'm not familiar with. But we're two different people at the same time. So I think I'm going to bring something a little different to the table. I think I'll set my own boundaries. And in fact, I was, after that interview, my husband and I talked about it. And, I can say myself that I have faced some things like that while I was an employee of the tribe. So there's some things I think that need to be looked at, and I think that kind of works hand in hand with the Employee Protection Act. And I don't mind to say this, last year my daughter was going to come work for the tribe. And she was 22 at the time. And I told her, I said, I'm just going to let you know, you're young, you're single, and you're pretty. And you need to be careful. And I hate that I had to say that to her. But with my own experience and what I've seen, I think she needed to know that. I'm nervous, I'm excited at the same time, so I'm ready to get started in less than a month, inauguration, so I'll just jump with both feet in and we'll go from there.
All right, moving right along as we get ready for our last two features of the day. And the second to last one here is about the bot ball that has really taken some of the educational institutions and facilities around Oklahoma by storm at some of our schools. Some of the younger kids really getting into basically building robots, building little machines that can do certain tasks. They control them to go to different coordinates, things like that. There's all kinds of competitions and stations where they get their machines, their robots, to do different things. And it's a really neat thing. These kids really get into it. They're basically clubs at their schools. They get to bring it forth in these big competitions, and it's called Bot Ball. And the Muskogee Creek Nation has been pretty much out in front in being support of this educational initiative for the kids. It gives them something new to get excited about, to learn. So this is a continuing effort for the Creek Nation to support Bot Ball.
Learning to code opens so many doors for our students. Coding is the future. These students being fluent in coding actually opens so many doors, and it's applicable in no matter what field they want to go into. So if they want to go into business, medical field, education, wherever they want to go, coding is another tool in their toolbox to get them where they need to be.
When they get their hands on the bots and they send their first code from the computer to the bot, it's like their eyes light up and their brains, their wheels in their head just start spinning. They're like, all the possibilities that can happen and all the things that they can do. When they learn a new code and the bot does something new, it is just like amazing to watch them take something that I teach them, this little code, and they can take this code and turn it into something that I have never even taught them. I still learn from them every day.
My husband is a computer programmer, and he thinks all children should learn to program because we use it all the time. Programming for our phones, everything, you just need to know it. But even if they don't go into programming or use it, the skills that they learn in working through their struggles will go with them too for any project base.
I like coding because it's a lot of hard work to do, and there's a lot of stuff you have to do in order to code. You gotta make sure you have your motors and everything right, your insulate. It's a lot of fun. I really do encourage other people to do it.
I just think this is a great program, and don't feel like you have to know a lot going into it. The students are smarter than we give them credit for, and they will learn it, pick it up, and we actually in turn learn things from them that we hadn't learned before.
All right, our last feature of the week takes us right up to Tulsa with a very a compassionate story. Really, one that one of our newer reporters, Kevin Barnett, got for us. And Kevin's done a great job so far of really picking up some men on the street type of things. He's a guy that goes out and he gets to know people. He's curious about people's stories, that the people that he sees in regular life, in passing, in different situations, he wants to get to know their stories. And one such person came across Kevin Barnett that piqued his interest in his story, and that was a guy named Donnie that is a volunteer at Iron Gate in Tulsa. Iron Gate serves the homeless, the underprivileged, some of the people that are going through hard times that just need a meal, and Iron Gate does that. And Kevin, while one day up there visiting Iron Gate to see some of the people, ran across this man, and he's actually a citizen hoping to receive citizenship.
Hi, my name is Donnie Henderson. I've been here in Tulsa about 7 months now, 8 months, something like that. What got me started was Chef Gino. He seen me around, had my picture taken for the Faces of Iron Gate, and it was kind of an unexpected thing. I didn't really know much about it. I didn't really know much about Iron Gate at the time, but I was coming up here to eat, and Chef Gino, he had seen me, so he asked me about some work for the Green Festival that was coming up, and we worked together. And ever since then, you know, we kind of hit it off. And he was telling me about Iron Gates and some of the stuff they do.
See, him and his girlfriend, you know, they would always be sitting outside. You know, they kind of keep to themselves, and they don't bother nobody, and nobody bothers them. And I just happened to ask him, would you mind helping volunteer helping me unload the truck? And he was more than glad to. And he seemed a little more eager than most people, you know. He was wanting to help out more and wanted to know if there was any positions available. And he was willing to step aside and volunteer and help the church out itself, you know. He even asked the property manager, is there any way he could go out there, you know, just power wash the sidewalk, anything to clean up the church to make it look a little more beautiful out there. And I thought that, hey, that tells a lot about a person, like when they do that.
I'll spend my days, usually I'll wake up, I'll come down here to Iron Gate, check in with these guys, make sure that they're all right, see if they need some help, and give them a hand if I can. And if not, man, I'll usually go down and just try to be happy, man. That's it. And try to stay sober and be happy. I like coming up here, you know. I like helping these folks out. And it makes me feel good, man. It really does. Usually it's been getting cold here lately, so I've been trying to winterize around the camp, but we just about got it. My whole motivation for this was whenever we got off of drugs, we just needed a place that we could get away from people. We needed a spot that we wouldn't be harmed, where we'd be safe, and where we could be warm away from everything. So I started right away just putting these walls up, man. And if you come here, here's the garage. It's where we park the bikes as soon as we walk in. This is really the heart of it, which it's trashed right now, but here's our fireplace. We burn mostly to cook. Sometimes we burn to get warm. we try to read our devotional and attend church at least once a week or so, and man, we really try to rekindle that relationship as well, you know, not just with our family, but also with our Creator. And I would feel like somebody would be doing good for me, like Gino did, if they seen something in us that was worth putting us into a position where we can fend for ourselves, because we're not hopeless and we're not helpless. But the biggest thing somebody could do is probably, like you are, Kevin, just taking time out of your day just to make us feel appreciated, and it does make us feel like we're on the right track, because we couldn't have done this months ago. I mean, months ago we wouldn't have nothing good to say, because we'd probably be trying to pawn your camera or something.
For real.
My mom and my kids see this, I'd just like to say that I love you very much, and I'm proud of you. You guys were also my motivation for getting clean, and I hope we can get strong again. I hope we can grow, because I miss y'all. And Merry Christmas.
And a great visit there with this gentleman from Kevin Barnett, Donnie there, and I misspoke a little bit before I introduced the story. I said he was a citizen wanting citizenship. The second part of that is true. Not yet a citizen, but working with the citizenship office currently with Creek Nation to get his citizenship. Something got lost and mixed up there along the way, so he's working to do that. And it's a great story there by Kevin, and I want to thank him for going out and getting material for the show. We really appreciate it, as well as all the reporters that are working here at Muskogee Media just all the time to bring you some of the stories out there and some of the news that's going on with the tribal government. You get a little bit of everything. So want to encourage you, as we always do. MuskogeeMedia.com is going to have all these stories, all of the links to the written pieces on some of this. If some of you out there are more inclined to read than watch, that's fine. We don't hold it against you, but we do want to tell you MuskogeeMedia.com is where you can find that. So go on there, follow us on all of our social media outlets. We've got a lot of exciting things coming up, rebranding, whatnot. Won't give you too much, but there are meetings taking place where we're getting some things figured out. And Muskogee Media going forward is going to be something really exciting, and we're excited to bring you along on the journey with us as we gain more followers, more people out there. Don't forget to go to the online channel as well, YouTube, and go on there and search Native News Today. You'll get us Muskogee Media there. Either one you want to search, it'll take you to our channel, and hit that red button and subscribe. Well, for Jared Moore and all the people that make it happen here at Native News Today, I'm Jason Salzman. We'll see you guys next week.